The Legend of the Night King and the White Walkers. In the age before kings and thrones, when men had only just dared to cut deep into the forests with their axes, and the winds still sang ancient songs across the mountains, a dark power was born. It did not come into the world on its own, for darkness rarely rises from nothing. It was created, shaped by the hands of those who feared their own extinction. The birth of cold. The children of the forest, the ancient beings who were the first inhabitants of Westeros, waged war against men. The axes of the first men cut down their sacred trees, burned their groves, and drove away the spirits that had dwelled for thousands of years in roots and branches. The children knew magic, wielded words of power and forces men could not yet comprehend. But humanity multiplied like ants, and even sorcery faltered before their numbers. In despair, the children of the forest forged a weapon. They took a man, a captured warrior, and plunged a shard of dragonglass into his heart. But instead of death, they gave him new existence. His eyes blazed with icy fire, his body hardened like frozen stone, and his soul became as empty as a winter sky. Thus was born the first of the White Walkers. Thus was born the Night King. They believed he would be their protector. But one born of fear and pain cannot know mercy. He turned against them all, against men and against his creators alike. A king without a throne. The Night King did not crave gold, crowns, or fame. His kingdom was cold, his army was death. He did not call, plead, or command. His will was silent, like the winter night. Those who fell in the snow rose again at his bidding, wordless, soulless. And the further he walked, the greater his host became. A warrior slain in battle rose again with eyes of blue flame. A farmer frozen in his field became a soldier in the ranks. Women, children, giants, all who had once drawn breath marched at his side. His army grew slowly, yet unstoppably, like a snowstorm blanketing the land. He did not rush. Time was his ally, for winter always returns. The wall and the waiting. When the north raised the wall, taller than mountains, woven with spells and wards, the Night King halted. He knew this barrier was not merely stone and ice, it was magic. It could not be broken by force alone. But he did not falter. He waited. Patience was his weapon. Men live short lives, kingdoms fall quickly as autumn leaves. He watched generation after generation come and go. He saw legends of him turn into bedtime tales, into songs that made children laugh. He saw belief fade into mockery. And in silence, he waited until men forgot fear. The cold breath of war. When the hour came, the Night King advanced. His armies knew no weariness. They marched through storms, through forests where trees shattered from the frost. Where his foot fell, the ground froze forever. Where his gaze landed, heart stopped before his blade even touched flesh. He came not to conquer, but to erase. To leave no memory, no name. The world was to become as silent as he was. Northern villages fell one by one. Warriors fought desperately, only to rise again in his ranks. Brothers battled brothers, fathers turned against sons. Every death made him stronger. The secret of his power. The Night King was more than a being of ice. He was the embodiment of fear of the end. He reminded men that all living things die, that every flame burns out. His frozen heart beat in rhythm with the winds, his body was carved from winter itself. The children's magic had created him as a weapon, but he became something greater. He was balance, the shadow trailing behind life. He spoke not, for death requires no words. The battle for life. When the Walker's host approached the wall, men finally understood that the old stories were no lies. The Watch, sworn to guard the realm, saw the endless river of the dead advance, and even the bravest trembled, for they knew that if they fell, they would rise in the enemy's ranks. The Night King did not attack recklessly. He searched for weakness, and he found it. The wall, though high and strong, could not stand forever. He found the key to break the magic that bound it. And when the dragon, slain and raised by his will, rose again with blue fire in its throat, it struck down what had once been thought unbreakable. The wall fell. The cold consumes. With the fall of the wall, there was no boundary left. The Night King's army poured forward. The north drowned in despair. castles and keeps prepared for war, but how does one fight an enemy who does not know pain, fear, or death? Fire was the only weapon that slowed them. Yet even it seemed fragile before the sea of ice. Knights, kings, common soldiers all knew that against him, their strength was nothing. The last night. It is said that in the battle, when all seemed lost, there was one shadow among the living, a warrior maiden whose name would be sung in songs. She slipped through the storm and chaos when all else had fallen. Her dagger found the place where his frozen heart lay. And for the first time, eternal silence shattered into a scream. The Night King broke into 1,000 shards, and with him fell all who walked in his shadow. The world breathed again. Men sang of victory, believing the end had come. But can something born not of men, but of magic itself, truly end? The echo of frost. Some whisper, he did not vanish, but returned to the depths of the winter wind. His eyes still watch from the blizzards, his breath can be heard across the night fields. For the Night King is not merely a creature. He is the memory that death is always near. And every winter that comes to Westeros is his footsteps. Every wind that rattles the windows in the dark is his voice. Men may forget, may turn his story into myth again. But winter always remembers. For the Night King is not the end of a legend. He is the legend itself, and he shall never die.